If there's one guitar trick you absolutely cannot get by without, it's palm muting. Palm muting is not exclusive to a specific genre, so no matter what style you play, palm muting is definitely a trick you'll need to learn. It's an essential technique that relies on your picking hand to dampen or mute the sound of your notes with your palm, hence the name palm muting. This can definitely be a tricky skill to learn because it's sort of nuanced in its execution. And I'd like to thank one of my rock and roll viewers for suggesting a more in-depth lesson on this subject, because I think this is something that can really help a lot of players out. So grab your axe, take a seat, and let's get ready to rock. So there's many purposes for why we use palm muting and when we use it. And the first being that it can add dynamics to your playing. So it can make certain notes and chords stick out by making the other ones around them quieter. It's also a great way to add some effects to your riffage, like some volume swelling. And it also cleans up your playing, even your lead playing, by preventing unwanted noise from ringing out by other strings. And this trick can be used on an acoustic guitar, an electric guitar, and it can be used regardless of your tone settings. But in my opinion, palm muting is really fun to use for adding chug to some heavy, high-gain riffage. And speaking of tones, I've got a free bonus for you that I'd love to throw in that I think will really help out with this material. It's my Elite Tones cheat sheet, and what it does is it shows you how to dial in custom killer amp tones to your liking. So if you're struggling to get your amp to sound the way you want it to, this is something that I think will be a really useful tool for you. It also includes some direct links to some of my favorite free digital amp sim plugins, which means extra tone options for you right away. It also shows you how to make any digital amp simulator sound like a physical, authentic amplifier. So again, it's completely free, so just pause the video real quick, click the link in the description, or go to zacksharguitar.com and download this awesome free resource. Then come back to this lesson with awesome tones and I can show you the proper palm muting technique. So for proper hand placement, we're going to use the outer pinky side edge of the palm of our picking hand and put that by the bridge of our guitar. So from this angle, it might be a little easier to see it, but right now I've got the strings muted. And from there, all you do is just strum how you normally would while keeping that part of your hand across the strings that you're targeting. And here's what it sounds like when I lift my hand away. So you don't need to worry about using too much pressure with your hand when you're muting. I actually tend to favor a lighter pressure because I'm a metal guy and that gives me a thicker chugging sound. But if you want a tighter sound, you can either add more pressure by pressing that part of your palm harder against the strings with your hand by the bridge of the guitar, or you can maintain a light amount of pressure and simply slide your hand closer to the neck of your guitar and a little farther from the bridge. It all depends on what sound you're trying to pull off. So I'm going to show you some palm muting exercises, and you'll see some tabs on your screen for that. And if you're not familiar with the tabs, basically each line of the tab represents the strings of your guitar, with the strings lower in pitch, like the low E string, depicted on the bottom of the tab. And the numbers of the tab simply indicate what frets are being played. You'll also see some sheet music there, and that's, you know, if you're one of those rare guitar players who knows how to read it, but it's mostly for the rhythm purposes. And you'll see that whenever you're palm muting something, it'll be indicated by that PM symbol. And you'll see some dotted lines that extend to how far you should be palm muting within the measure. So We're gonna do some exercises that involve chords, and actually the only chord I want you to focus on is the open E power chord. So that's the open low E string, as you can see, and then fret 2 of the A and D strings. So first, let's just focus on keeping palm muting for the duration of 2 full measures using a steady 8th note chugging pattern. Now we're gonna play what looks like the same exact thing, but look at where the palm muting is in this next exercise because we're gonna use it intermittently. And this is gonna be a great way to make certain chords stick out and hit harder than others. Now let's focus on single notes on a single string. Lastly, let's try a single note pattern, but across different strings. Palm muting is an essential technique that'll add clarity and dynamics to your playing, as well as being the main ingredient for getting your guitar to chug. Pay close attention to how I've demonstrated the technique and try your best to replicate that for yourself. It's sort of a knack, so stick in and stay consistent with practicing it the way I showed you. Once it clicks, you'll be on your way to victory in sonic warfare. And if you really want to get the most out of your amp, don't forget to download my free Elite Tones cheat sheet if you have not done so already. It gives you my best tips on how to dial in killer amp tones, and this tool also shows you how to make digital amp simulators sound like authentic physical amplifiers. It even has direct links to some of my favorite free amp sim plugins. So just click the link in the description or go to ZachSharGuitar.com and download this awesome free resource. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Zach with Zach Shar Guitar. God bless, and I will see you in the next one.